You ever reached the end of your day and wondered where all your time went? Now, not because you were lazy, not because you weren't busy. In fact, you may have spent the entire day doing something. You answered emails, you replied to messages, you solved problems, checked things off your list. You were active from morning until night. But activity isn't the same as progress. If someone quietly followed you for the next 7 days and recorded where your attention went, they could probably tell you a great deal about the future that you're building. They wouldn't need to hear your goals. They wouldn't need to read your plans. They would simply watch what repeatedly receives your attention. Because attention is never neutral. It's an investment. Whatever constantly receives your attention begins shaping your thoughts. Your thoughts shape your decisions. Your decisions become habits, and over time, your habits become your life. So, the uncomfortable question isn't whether you're paying attention, because you are. The question is, who is deciding where your attention goes? In the last phase, we learned to become more aware. Awareness helps you notice what's happening in your life, but awareness and attention are not the same thing. You can notice a distraction and still surrender your attention to it. Awareness teaches you to notice. Attention teaches you to choose. And that's where phase 2 begins. One of the greatest myths of modern life is that attention naturally goes where it matters most. But it doesn't. Attention usually goes wherever it is pulled. And think about how easily that happens. You wake up knowing what matters. You know the project you need to move forward, the conversation you need to have, the habit that you're trying to build. Then you pick up your phone. One notification becomes 3. 3 become 10. An email reminds you of something urgent. A headline catches your eye. A message deserves a response. And before you've made one intentional decision, the world has already started making decisions for you. And here's what makes this difficult. Most distractions aren't bad. They are simply less important than what they replace. And that's a much harder problem because distractions rarely introduce themselves as distractions. They arrive as opportunities, responsibilities, entertainment, information, urgency, and even productivity. Everything asks for your attention, but very little deserves your best attention. Your best attention is one of the most valuable resources you possess. Once you spend it, you don't get that moment back. And when your best attention is spent on whatever arrives first, the things that matter most often receive whatever's left. Your family gets the tired version of you. Your meaningful work gets the distracted version of you. Your health gets whatever energy remains at the end of the day. Your own thinking gets squeezed into spaces between interruptions. And this is why attention isn't simply a productivity issue, it's a quality of life issue. And there's also an entire economy built around capturing it. Every platform wants it, every notification interrupts it, every advertisement hopes to hold it, every algorithm learns what keeps you looking longer. Some of the smartest people in the world spend their days asking, how do we keep people's attention? Meanwhile, most of us spend almost no time asking, how should I invest mine? And that imbalance matters. It matters a lot because if someone else consistently decides what captures your attention, they're quietly influencing what captures your life. And that influence is rarely dramatic. It happens in small pieces. 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there, one more interruption, one more reaction, one more evening spent consuming instead of creating, comparing instead of appreciating, responding instead of choosing. Individually, those moments seem harmless. Collectively, they become a direction. And attention also trains itself. The more often you interrupt your own concentration, the more natural interruption begins to feel. The more often you react to every signal, the more your mind starts expecting another signal. What begins as a habit can slowly become your normal way of moving through the day. And the opposite is also true. Every time you stay with meaningful work a little longer, every time you finish the conversation without checking the phone, every time you notice the pull of distraction and choose not to follow it, you're training your attention in a different direction. And that's hopeful because it means attention isn't fixed. It can be practiced, and it can be strengthened, and it can be intentionally returned to the things you want your life to become known for. One of the things I've learned is that attention isn't just about what you're looking at. It's about what you're becoming. Your attention isn't just observing your life, it's constructing it. Think of a garden. Every morning you walk outside with a watering can. You only have enough water for a few plants. Some are flowers, some are weeds. Every day, whether you realize it or not, you water something. Your attention is the water. You fear every fear you rehearse, every resentment you replay, every relationship you nurture, every idea you return to. You're watering something. The question isn't whether your life is growing. The question is, what are you helping grow? Spend enough attention on comparison and contentment becomes harder. Spend enough attention on learning and curiosity grows stronger. Spend enough attention on fear and fear begins shaping your decisions. Spend enough attention on meaningful work and capability grows. Spend enough attention on people you love and those relationships deepen. Attention always leaves evidence. That's why I don't think this lesson is really about focus. It's about stewardship. And stewardship is different from control. You cannot control every interruption. You cannot prevent every unexpected problem. You cannot eliminate every demand for your attention. But you can decide which demands deserve your best attention. That is freedom. Not freedom from distraction, but freedom to choose what you return to. And this distinction matters because trying to control every distraction can become another form of distraction. You don't need a perfectly silent life. You need a clear enough sense of what matters that you know where to return when life gets noisy. So, what does that look like tomorrow morning? Not another productivity system, not a perfect schedule, but one decision before the notifications begin, before someone else's priorities start competing with yours. You pause and ask, what deserves the best of me today? Not what is the loudest, not what is the easiest, not what everyone else wants, but what deserves the best of my attention. And once you answer that question, you have to protect the answer. The daily focus for this lesson is simple. Before beginning your day, identify one thing that deserves your best attention and protect time for it before reacting to everything else. One thing, that's enough, just one thing, because intentional living is rarely built by changing everything at once. It's built by consistently protecting what matters most. You may still get distracted. You may still have days where urgency wins. The goal isn't perfection. The goal is to notice sooner and return faster. Every return is another vote for the life that you're trying to build. And here's something else I noticed. The things that matter most often have the quietest voices. Your future doesn't send notifications. Your character doesn't demand an immediate response. Your health can wait quietly for years. The people you love may patiently accept whatever attention is left over. Urgency shouts, meaning often whispers. And this is why attention has to be directed intentionally. Otherwise, the loudest thing wins. And if the loudest thing keeps winning, you can spend years being incredibly busy while quietly becoming someone you never intended to be. Imagine someone asks you 5 years from now what shaped your life. You might think of major decisions, career changes, relationships, opportunities, setbacks. But maybe the truer answer is more quiet. Maybe your life was shaped by thousands of ordinary moments when you decided what deserved your attention. Because every day you invested somewhere, and every day something grows. So tomorrow morning, before you pick up your phone, remember this. Your attention is one of the few resources in your life that you still have the power to choose. Not perfectly, not every moment, but often enough to change your direction. Protect it. Make sure you're watering the life you actually want. Who is deciding where your attention goes? Make the answer you. I'll see you in the next lesson. Today's daily focus. Before beginning your day, identify one thing that deserves your best attention and protect time for it before reacting to everything else. Remember this. This is a memorable principle. Attention is your daily investment. Spend it where you want your life to grow.